Hey, welcome back to Test and Talks, and I'm back with another review. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Aston Villa 1, and I am joined again by Phil. Good evening, Phil. Yeah, you too. Okay, so we'll start with the initial thoughts on the game as a whole. And I suppose an unsurprising news, the team news, was basically what we'd expect was probably going to happen, that the majority of our first team came in and started. Hmm. Yeah, I think if you look back now at the actual game, The the only position now that I have a bit of a question mark over is Amari Hutchinson on that right hand side. And for me, he's got huge amount of talent. You can see that. My my concern is, have we done it again where we've got a player that is naturally an attacking midfielder? We have shoehorned him out wide right, and he's just not looking effective at the minute. He looks totally devoid of confidence. I Yeah, but I just think that, when you're playing the 3-4-2-1 formation that we did at Midtjylland, I think that works for Hutchinson because he's more centralised. He's not having to be totally out on the right wing. And I think the annoying thing for me with Amori is he doesn't take his man on. Like he'll do these mazy runs on the inside, but he's coming into the congested part of the pitch. Like, when you've got just a defender down the line. Let's say, for example, if you'd got a Langer from last year, right? Down the line, and like occasionally you'd see him go past the defender and into the box. You, mm, But is there not an argument to say that he might just be a player that's suited more of drifting from the centre out wide than out wide into the centre? Like, if say say if you look at the two behind a striker, if you've got two like attacking midfielders and a back three, they can drift out wide, and but you've still got the width of your wing backs. Whereas I think when you've got them in the actual wide role, they have to be the one that's the most creative on that side. And I'm I'm wondering whether it's worth trying and Doi out there on the right hand side just to give us a bit more of a natural winger out there. You just 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 touching on Dan and Doi, I think his problem has actually been the changes of managers. Because you could see when he played the first game under Nuno, I actually if you can ever actually categorize winger like players for specific managers, I would say that Dan and Doy was the most Nuno signed player because it worked. The way it is playing, the kind of the fit that they're in, it worked. The whole next two managers systems, I think, just showed him up as a he's not going to be the most defensive of wingers. And even when you watch Switzerland play, he's not one that comes back and hugely wins the ball back on the edge of the box. I can always remember there was a Switzerland game where him and Ruben Vargas were running through the middle together, and one of the two scored. I don't remember which one it was, but they went from the halfway line to the edge of the box and scored. Basically, both of them together. So he's not slow. He's just, I think he's got to get a bit of a run of starts again, I think, and actually, again, believe in himself as a player. There's a few of them that I think the confidence is totally drained out of them by the fact of how many managers we've had. Absolutely. Before we move on to the first goal, I would just like to touch on the fans because you made a plea at the end of the last video to become noisy. Now, please can certain sections of the ground please look up the word noise? Because for periods within that game, it was like a morgue. I mean, hello, just sing. Stop standing there reading your phone like you don't want to be there. Yeah, but, yeah, but it's the, yeah, yeah, but do you know what I mean though? Like front two rows of Y2 in Lower Bridgeford, right? I'm calling out a specific section, right? You will see, you, you will see, right? People stood there. Why? Just it's it's and you know what the other frustrating thing is as well. The last thing on the atmosphere, we're very quiet until somebody makes a mistake, and then everybody starts to react to that mistake, and it's like, no, that's not helpful. Like, I mean, and then and then and then you go on to social media after the game, and we all know how stupid some people are. But after Murillo's own goal, which will actually be a bit more balanced on in a minute, there were comments saying, "Oh, maybe it's time he goes onto the bench. He's been shocking past couple of games." Like, hello, wake up. We can't even fulfill a back three of competent defenders, right? Because Jair is injured. So, who exactly are you actually putting in Murillo's place? Well, you, you're not, are you? Like, like, if if you actually wake up and actually think about this logically, you're not. Because you're not throwing in Zach Abbott at this point in the season. Because again, that's the way to ruin a young player. We tried that under Sean Dyche. We played him at right back. It's not going to work. You can play with a back three in Europe, no problem with that. But Murillo and Milenkovic at the back, every defender makes mistakes throughout the season. Deal with it. Unless you're wearing a red shirt. Oh, I I agree. And look, for for the two own goals, right, that Murillo has put in this season, he has probably gained us another five, six, seven goal scoring clearances. So let's be real, okay? That own goal was just unlucky. It hit him and it went in. And here's a here's an imaginary idea. Why don't we stop the cross? Mm. well, we'll speed up now to the positive of the game. Nico's goal. I mean, he had a couple of chances either side of the goal, as well as the goal, because we all know that Nico has about 5 shots a game, and usually none of them go in. But luckily this time he guided one into the near post. I'm I'm impressed with the ball from the right hand side across the Hudson-Odoi to start off with, because there are a few times that they both tried that. I think that may have been Ina across to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi then also tried one in the second half over to Hutchinson. They were trying the over the top and then trying to get the ball back in route. And I think that was one where we did something a bit smart with playing it back to the fullback and the fullback actually being there. I'm, I mean, second half, I started tallying up the amount of times Ollie, Nico Williams, and Elliot Anderson just got absolutely battered. I mean, they spent more time colliding and getting taken out and being on the floor than they did standing up. I mean, I just I'm gonna segue into now my officials talk. This this could take a while, but this is also hopefully going to be quite amusing. What 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 exact what exactly does Igor Jesus have to do to get a foul? Because I mean, at the end of the day, he got taken out at the neck region, and the referee was right in front of it, looking dead at it. No foul. Like seriously, like does the guy have to literally be cut in half to get a foul? Mm, Now, we should also touch on the disallowed goal, of which, if we look at, again, how it should be implemented, if you're looking like you're going to go through and score a goal, you let it play out and then go back for VAR. However, however, I I think because of the whole confusion as to what offside now actually is, the the actual human beings at the ground have got no idea what offside is and what isn't offside. That even if they remotely see a player ahead of the defensive line 1 minute and then but they weren't the previous minute, like that must be offside. Flag up. I You see, I what I think happened here, I can probably explain the VAR thing, right? If the referee hadn't have blown up when the flag went up, right, and he'd let the play carry on to the goal, I think VAR would have looked to take checks and seen if it was offside. The thing is, you heard the whistle before he'd gone and put it in the net. You heard a whistle, so he'd already stopped the play. So at that point, he's already pulled it back. So they're probably thinking, well, if the referee hadn't have blew the whistle, then could the Villa players have probably stopped the goal? Now, again, whether that's correct in terms of everybody's opinion, it's a bit like my rant I had on the Porto review. Regardless of the people's viewpoints of whether VAR should have looked at it, was it offside, should that been a goal, blah blah blah. Because the referee had already basically said the game's dead before the ball hit the net, it's a bit like saying if there is a clear offside, the line puts his flag up and they're running and score. Oh, we should look at that as a goal. Well, it's already stopped dead for the offside. So I think in that incident, it I don't I don't believe that again. VAR is the issue. It's the way the rules are written, and it's too vague. Nobody knows what an offside is. Nobody knows what a handball is. Like you can be non-handball if it comes off the top of the shoulder, but if it comes off your elbow, it's handball. Yet if it comes off the bit between the elbow and the shoulder, it's handball. But then miraculously, you're supposed to be able to disconnect that from the top of the shoulder because that's not handball. Like, what is this rubbish? It's handball if it hits the hand, or but 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 I mean, we can talk about the handball rule till the end of time. I'm still not convinced that even if we got 10 people into a stream, we'd even be able to find what the actual definitive that is handball, that is not handball kind of logical consensus because it's down to interpretation of the person and their allegiance and everything else. Now, I think the final thing that I was going to touch on before we go to a Porto scoreline was and I've just ranted for that long about the handball rule that it's gone out of my head. Um, oh, that was it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was the Watkins and Rogers missed chances. You actually got it bang on. Yeah. Um, they're not gonna miss those type of chances again this season, are they? Mm, I don't. I don't think it's got anything to do with the weight of the football. I think. I think, to be honest, it was desperation of we're trying to grab a goal here, and to be to look. In all fairness, 1-1 was a fair result because there really wasn't that much between us. The I think I think to be I think to be I think to be fair, it's a lot of it comes down to our defensive work. However, you know when you look at what we predicted, you said 2-0, I said 1-0. Basically, it was in the middle. It was 1-1. So we were both reasonably around kind of the closeness of it. It was just, I think the optimism of the wanting 3 wins in a week meant that we predicted the win. I think realistically, if you'd actually said, would you take a point before kickoff against Villa? Yeah, absolutely. You have to go and beat Burnley. Like, that's something that, not saying it's a given, but you have to go and do it because then it makes the Villa point a good point. However, however, I just want to make sure we don't have this is a hugely long um thing to watch. Um, we have Porto on Thursday for the second leg. Score prediction. I'm gonna go 2-1. I do think we'll I do think we'll win. I believe that when you put the rest of our players into the side, with the exception, I think, of playing Hudson-Odoi over Emery Hutchinson. I think we've got enough there to create chances for a goal if you actually put the energy into going for them early. Because I think if we can get at them early and get that early goal, and then not do a Porto straight after you've scored, then I think we'll be up. Then I believe we'll be okay. I do believe we're going to go through, just because it's Nottingham Forest and we like to do things a totally crazy way. And I think there's something about this squad that when it's the least expected thing, we go and actually do it. I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me if this season we got results away at Chelsea and Man U, because that's just the way that our season is going. Ha- If you've made it this far, don't forget to drop a like on the video, drop a comment, and don't forget to share out the video. It's mostly appreciated. Thank you, Phil, for coming on. And until after the Porto game, we'll see you very soon, and goodbye for now.